Warning, we are about to spoil the series Paranoia Agent. If you haven't seen the series and plan on watching it, leave now and come back later. But if you have seen it or you just don't care, then please stick around.
So, what do you think, little slugger?
Ah! You fucking dick!
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. We are checking our levels for this beautiful test on this beautiful day.
It's nighttime.
Not marred by mushroom clouds or crazy people in the streets. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 100th episode of Cinema Roulette. What a fucking journey it has been getting to this point.
Fucking hell.
Like, so
Why
much.
Why did we make 100 episodes of bullshit?
I know, right? Who would make 100 episodes of this crap? But it's funny you should mention that. But no, like, we started out 3 years ago, like, just on a whim, and now it's just kind of turned into this. And man, I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's turned into this. A total of 13 viewers, 100 episodes. And two shameless plugs with other podcasts.
Hell yeah. So
not 3. We didn't do 3.
Yeah, the
Just
film
2.
Okay, we get it, Justin. But
okay, you see the joke there.
No.
Didn't have to do it twice.
Well, I mean, but it was kind of getting out of hand here. But no, I'm very happy because the film and podcasting community has been nothing but kind to us, and we've gotten a bit of a following on Twitter, not quite to the point where we want to be, where we, have people regularly interacting with us, but we want to thank all of our regular viewers, everyone who's stuck with us, everyone who's been through the crazy, crazy times that we've been through. So we'll be here for you for the next 5 to 7 years, baby!
Unless we all die, then,
Yeah.
That's not really our fault.
Yeah, the world ends and shit, but hey, you know what? If we'll be here, guys, entertaining the masses. So thank you all for that. Thank you
the masses of 13.
Yes. Thank you to the people we've cooperated with. It's Shonen Flop, and what was the other one?
Let's chat.
Let's chat. Yeah, let's chat. I want to thank you so much to Chris Reffel and Bree and all that whole gang for promoting us as well. So they're saints. I love them. And just
it's hard to do words for because it's a fucking lot, and I'm also sure in the 99th episode, did we record out of order? We might have, but
just maybe. I know, shocking for us.
Yeah, we've never brought that up before, that we may record out of order sometime. But like just a lot in 2020 we did, because we had the interview, we did the slight advertisement with Shonen Flop. We did did both top 10 lists come out in 2020?
I think they might have, actually. Yeah. Because we recorded it when I was over at your house, the first one. So, yeah.
Yeah. We had the top 10 list. I started doing more title cards. If you go on any of the podcast apps, all the thumbnails are changed specifically for episodes. You've even seen that in the YouTube version.
Yep.
Just a lot has fucking changed. And we actually became weekly instead of every few months or so.
Well, okay, that was only at the beginning. Last year, we got back on track with that.
Yeah.
Last year, we did pretty damn good last year. There were only a couple of days. And this year, we will we'll hopefully be consistent every single week. So we have it planned out.
Unless shit happens.
Yeah. So unless shit happens.
Like sometimes we release on Saturdays because just technical difficulties.
Yeah. Tends to happen with the computers and all that shit. I had something profound I wanted to say, but it's gone now. So
Oh. Well, actually most of those tech issues should go away because
yes.
computer. So
yes, I am getting my new computer here soon. My parents, when I went out to dinner with them on Tuesday, we actually talked about this. They're like, get a hold of Preston because he said it's like he has a list of every single part we're going to order, and so it's like, give us a call and just let us know when we should order it, and then he's going to build it and then drive it over, I guess, and finish it here because there's a certain component you have to be really fucking careful with. So yeah, my brother builds computers, by the way. What?
I don't know if you're going to keep that part in.
Probably not, but yeah, no, he builds computers, so that's really fucking nice. But hey, enough about technology. Are we good with the retrospective thing? Is there anyone else you want to say or thank or any of that?
I think we will probably also cover a lot of that in the fucking 9th. Thanks to
probably
We Be Gamers as well for being our one and only guest so far.
Yep. On the show
Which
twice.
means he's the best and worst.
Yep. He's the best guest we've had and the worst guest we've had because he's the only guest we've had. But yeah, thank you to We Be Gamers, our best friend. And yeah, so alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, let's talk about a gentleman named Satoshi Kon.
Insert massive dick sucking sound.
Oh yeah. Yep. Because man, this is someone that because I'm pretty sure I was the first person to actually watch a Satoshi Kon movie because I watched Paprika before you did. Or no, you watched Paranoia Agent before I did, so you would have been.
I probably watched Paranoia Agent before you.
You watched Paranoia Agent beforehand, but that was his first exposure to it, so my first was Paprika.
Well, wait, should we do the intro first before we get into this?
I guess so. So, today is the 2004 television series, the one and only television series that Satoshi Kon did, and that is Paranoia Agent. With the sound of silence.
It went quiet in the 100th episode.
How could you?
Also, that for all the people on podcast apps, I kindly ask you to go watch at least the opening of the YouTube version because I did all those title cards and you probably heard a bit of the song, but we had Cameron's friend JJ, his musician friend.
Yes, JJ.
Do a song, and I worked through most of 2020. I was busy making all the title cards just so we could rip off Linkara, show all the title cards, and then stop at Paranoia Agent with this awesome background made by Teller's Place yet again. I had them redo it a bit so that way it's this whole Paranoia Agent theme.
Yeah. And they turned out beautiful. Mwah. Thank you again to Teller's Place.
Oh, I forgot to say in the opening that thanks to Teller's Place for doing the awesome original background before I edit the shit out of them and make them look worse.
We got a beautiful background by Teller's Place. Well, we're thanking them now. So thank you so much to Teller's Place.
Thanking them now, showing off more of their work.
Yeah.
Commission them.
Isn't it? Please.
They are very reasonable in their pricing.
They're amazing. Yeah. So. But yeah. So
also the ones they quickly flash of loop on probably, unless that's a different artist, then we'll edit this part out and put in some whoever actually did them.
Yeah. So. All right, so but yeah, so Satoshi Kon is the man. And how did you first really get into him? Was it Paranoia Agent or
it? Well, okay, Paranoia Agent Paranoia Agent and Satoshi Kon are just kind of forced to be important to me because I was 100% one of those people who was like, anime is for nerds. All it is Dragon Ball and porn.
Were you really?
I was 100%. Well, also, I was in middle school.
Yeah, well,
I grew up in white suburbia. It wasn't a lot of just, there weren't many nerdy kids. It was mostly jocks, the quiet kids, and the drug addicts.
Yeah, of course. Well, you'll get those, especially in Chicago.
Oh yeah, act like Ohio's so great. Look at Dan.
Dude, fuck Dayton. I never said Ohio was great, okay?
Yeah, but you're acting like, oh, no surprise in Chicago. Look at fucking Ohio.
Well, no, I know, but am I wrong?
No, but everywhere has drugs.
They do, but especially in there.
We at least have pizza in between the drugs.
That is also true. That is also true. We do not have, like, nothing beats Chicago pizza, and we will fight you on that.
It's true. But, okay, so I was basically saying this to my brother because he was into anime already at this point. And he literally just had one of those ones where it's like, okay, shut up, sit down, watch this. And just threw me in the fucking deep end with Paranoia Agent.
Fuck yeah.
So this is basically the anime that got me into anime. Of course, growing up, I watched Pokemon and
yeah.
Actually, I think and some Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like, who didn't though? I watched those too. But
yeah, but I don't really consider those gang into anime unless you progress further after.
I agree. Yeah, no. So, because the first one I saw, which you recommended, and it was fantastic, was Cowboy Bebop. So that was the first anime I really like seriously sat down and watched. So, because I never hated anime, I was always open to anime. It's just I never knew where to start. So,
I was open to anime movies. Everything else I was like, no, that's Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's like, no, yeah, and then that's sadly still nowadays that is the stereotype of anime. It's like, oh, it's just Dragon Ball Z and porn. It's like, no.
I think at least for better or for worse, a lot of people are more open to anime, especially after stuff like Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia.
Yeah. Nowadays, at least, yeah, no. But growing up, that is a lot of what it was like. And I there are still those people around who just hate on anime because it's nerdy or whatever. But fuck them.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, that's why this anime is honestly important to me because it got me into anime. Also, it's just really fucking good. Like, everything Satoshi Kon makes.
Everything he touched was gold. And just to give a little background on him, he had been making stuff since, I think, the 80s? Like, he'd been making manga since the 80s.
I think it was 70s, maybe.
Hold on. No, he was active from 1984 to 2010.
84, okay.
And
I forgot when the series that shall not be named came out.
Yeah, that was 1993. I have his filmography pulled up right now. So,
okay, maybe not everything he touched was gold. Some people don't have a great start.
Well, yeah, it's like, he directed the 93 JoJo movie. But because before that he was writing for things. So the first thing he's credited as doing, he wrote for something called World Apartment Horror, and then Ryujin Z was the next thing, and then I can't pronounce that one, but it's just a very strange, and I know I'm going to butcher it. But his first, feature-length movie that wasn't related to another media was Perfect Blue in 1997. So
good.
Perfect Blue was 97, and then in 01 was Millennium Actress, and then 03 was Tokyo Godfathers, and then 04 was the thing that we are reviewing today, and that's Paranoia Agent.
Yes.
So
one of the main reasons we're doing Paranoia Agent, besides it being fucking awesome, is because, like we said last episode, we're doing a director's wheel, and Satoshi Kon's the reason we made it the director's wheel, because he only has 4 movies.
Yep, because the worst part about Satoshi Kon was he died way too young. He passed away in 2010 at the age of 46, very sadly. So
it's honestly such a fucking loss watching his work is so good, and we honestly, when we get to it on direct wheel, it's going to be just 30 minutes to an hour of dick sucking.
Oh yeah, because it's just everything he touched, other than his start, was just gold. And what he was able to do with what, Perfect Blue was 97, and I still haven't sat down yet and done that, but you said it's really fucking good, right?
Oh, Perfect Blue is great. Millennium Actress is great.
Yeah.
Tokyo Godfather is great. Paprika's great.
All of his movies are great. Like,
so good.
And Paranoia, it's just we just lament it because it's like we're just imagining in our heads. It's like, imagine what he could do, because the last movie he directed was in '06. Imagine what he could do with nowadays animation. It just hurts. So,
and also he was very he talks a lot about social issues and about the way people act and think, and the different masks they put on while going through their day type deal.
Yeah, that was a very heavy theme. That's Satoshi Kon. It was very much about people and how people act. It was very like character focused. Was a lot of his stuff. Like, and while there were other plots and stuff going on, it was ultimately about like how people act, and just having social commentary on just the world as a whole and how people in the world work. So, which was just always a fascinating subject. So,
also for our listeners in 2021, putting a mask on, I was talking metaphor.
Yeah, not literally, with the pandemic, but and this show came about because it was ideas he wanted to do for movies but weren't fully fleshed out yet, right?
Yeah, it was. This show was actually made based around ideas he wanted to do for movies, but either couldn't expand enough upon, or studios would just say no.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, before we get into this thing, I know this is a dealer's bet, technically. And usually for those we say, go and watch the thing before listening. You can. But this is one of those situations where the twist also lets you look into it in different ways and still be a very enjoyable experience.
Yeah, so we do recommend going into it blind, I think, right?
Yeah, I recommend going in blind, but if you're really curious to hear what it is and see if you want to go into it, that's also fair to listen to the episode now.
Yep.
It's on Funimation. It's on Funimation now, so you can stream it if you need to. I also like to say, even at the end of the show, with the ending credit scene, it literally tells you to watch it again and again, trying to figure out the puzzle of the show.
Yep. It's like, you figure it out. Good luck. Except for you, EB gamers, you're still watching it beforehand.
Yeah, if you didn't, with Weeby Gamers, we literally just bought him all of Satoshi Kon's films and Paranoia Agent for Christmas, and we were like, watch this before the first week of March.
Yeah.
Because, okay, I should warn you too, but hopefully you didn't leave already. If you did, Satoshi Kon is a surrealist. Very much so. Paranoia Agent, if you go in Paranoia Agent and his film Paprika, if you go into those first, that's kind of like wanting to learn how to swim, so you jump in the middle of the ocean during a storm.
Yeah, it really, he gets really fucking trippy at times, and if you're not prepared for that, you might not enjoy it.
Yeah, you're going to drown.
Yeah, so, and that's why we told Weeby Gamers, we're like, okay, start with this one, and then go this one.
Us and Satoshi Kon watching list, in case you need to get into Satoshi Kon. Start with Tokyo Godfathers, his most grounded film. Then you get a free choice here of your Perfect Blue or Millennium Actress. Perfect Blue is a horror thriller, and Millennium Actress is more of a romance drama. Do one of those first, then do the other, then do Paprika, and then Paranoia Agent. And you should be fine.
Because me and Justin didn't do that. I think we already were into surrealism and already liked it, so it didn't matter. But you jumped right in with Paranoia Agent.
Oh no, I was just an off the wall kid, so going into this.
Well, hey, so was I, so that's perfect. I'm still off the wall. I'm an off the wall person in general. So.
Well, I've tamed my off the wallness, and now I just come once a week instead of.
It's okay.
Oh wait, can you cut that?
Why?
Well, I don't need them fucking knowing where the bodies are, Cameron.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's true.
Sorry if I keep drinking water. I'm in a very dry room at the moment.
Yeah. But yeah, because we just kind of jumped in. Because like I said, you jumped in with Paranoia Agent. I just went right the fuck in with Paprika. Just fuck it.
Paprika is a fucking hard.
Oh lord.
I don't know if it hits as hard as Paranoia Agent. Though they both hit hard, but I don't know which hits harder.
I think Paprika does, because Paprika just starts off right away with the surrealism. Paranoia Agent at least eases you into it a little bit. So
a little,
not a lot, but I think it's more than Paprika, where it just goes all full on surreal. Just fuck you.
I don't know. Episode 2 of fucking Paranoia Agent hits you pretty hard.
Yeah, it does. But we will get to that, so I'll let you take it away with the synopsis.
Yeah, okay, so last chance to get out now if you haven't watched the show and you want to check it out.
Yep.
And also it would again be really nice if you did check out the YouTube version and see the little thing of all the title cards and the final title card made by Teller's Place, who is basically always in the description.
Yes.
If you want to hire them.
Yeah.
Also, I really hope we said they, them instead of she, because they want to be called they, them.
Yep. But yeah, we'll probably link to the YouTube version on Twitter and all that when it comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll probably shove in the show notes as well for the podcast version.
Yep. Alrighty.
Okay.
Well, that's okay.
Do I keep it short or do I go? Well, okay. Because we do want to talk episode by episode, because this is serialized, but also episodic.
Yeah. I'd say do it, not like don't rush it, but do it quicker than usual. So
like cover the main stuff and then go back and we'll go episode by episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or we can do like episode by episode, just a quick synopsis, and then go back and.
We're not making this quick.
All right. Well,
there's so much to talk about each episode.
Go with it.
Okay. So the main plot. Here in Japan in the early 2000s, there is a character designer named Tsukiko. She's stressed out. She made basically the best character of all time. Like, more popular than fucking Mickey Mouse here, named Moromi. A cute pink dog with googly eyes. It's great. But she's getting pressured a lot into making another character. Because actually, we'll talk about this later. I'll try not to add too much commentary.
All right.
But work is getting to her. Her boss is basically threatening her, like, hey, you better think of a new character by Monday, or shit's gonna get bad. And she's heading home, stressed out of her mind. She trips in the parking lot while no one's around. All of a sudden, sound of rollerblades. Kid comes up behind her with a gold bat, whacks her right in the head. She's been assaulted. She was knocked completely out cold, and now the police have to look into it. And she's getting all this sympathy. Her boss isn't putting too much pressure on her anymore. She's almost happier because of it. But everyone's worried because, a fucking Japan sweetheart at the moment just got assaulted, and no one knows who did it. And rumors start going around about it being Little Slugger. Then there's more cases of people who are backed into a corner emotionally or sometimes physically, and they get actually first there is an investigator who's not part of the police. He's a journalist looking into her case of gang thwacked, and he gets hit by Little Slugger because the police thought she might be faking it. Now the rumors spread because 2 people have been attacked, and then more people get attacked, and all of them were also backed into an emotional corner. And it keeps going person to person. All of them getting somewhat saved in some way. And then the police do catch someone because because some robber is attacked by Little Slugger, but he's not knocked unconscious, so he chases after him and beats the shit out of him. Please catch the snot-nosed brat. Brat's fucking crazy. Thinking that he's living in some fantasy video game, and says the people he attacked had gems, so he can beat a queen or something and save the princess.
He's like this holy knight or something like that, fighting for good or some shit like that.
Yeah. And they believe they caught the guy. However, some things about his story don't add up. And they even find an old woman a homeless old woman who turns out to have seen the attack. Hold on, I'm going to make sure. Yeah, who saw the attack on Tsukiko. And she says there was no one there that night. Turns out Tsukiko apparently just dropped after she tripped, grabbed a lead pipe, and beat her leg in, basically. Mm-hmm. And faked the entire thing. However, as the cops are interrogating her about this, she says he's here, and then looks like she's hit with a bat. Like she flies literally out of her chair and to the ground. 2 detectives have been on this case. I'm just going to refer to the younger one as detective and the other as chief, because that's what they often.
That's fair. Yeah, they do call each other that, don't they?
Yeah, they do get names later in the show, but it's a lot easier on my stupid American brain to say detective and chief. Because honestly, though this show is only 13 episodes, I have like so many pages.
They are very Japanese names, because the chief is named Detective Kaiichi Ikari, and then the detective is Detective Mitsuhiro Manoa. So, yeah, that'd be a bit easier.
Yeah. But besides that, they also found out the holy warrior, or the fake Little Slugger, lied about everything. The only person he attacked is the person. And he dies in prison because Little Slugger attacks him.
Yep.
Like, the police see Little Slugger come out of the cell and then disappear into a wall.
And they go in there and he's just dead with blood all over the place.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal. Yeah. Satoshi Kon doesn't fuck around when it comes to gore.
Oh, no, yeah, his shit gets fucked. Like, I think most of his movies are rated R, and they deserve it, or at least 2 of them. Like, I'm pretty sure, I know Perfect Blue is R, but...
Perfect Blue is definitely R.
Not sure about the other ones.
But the detective in chief are basically fired. Mm-hmm. The detective does try to dig more into the case, trying to figure out, like, adding the connection in his brain that everyone was backed into his emotion, and if Little Slugger isn't real, but he is in a way.
Yeah, it gets very strange at the end, and then the chief just gets relegated to security guard.
Yeah, and also the chief tried to put the detective on vacation because he was losing it.
He was very clearly going out of his head. That's one of the funnier scenes in there, where he's just like going on, but this Little Slugger, blah blah blah, and he just looks at him and just holds up vacation request form.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you've lost it. Okay.
And detective, this isn't really explained why he has this, but he has basically a radio station in his apartment, and he says what Little Slugger is and spreads the rumor.
I do want to point out, too, just a very minor thing. The detective is voiced by Liam O'Brien, and he just has a cool-ass voice. I've always liked him in his performances.
He does. But he spreads the rumor, and then we see it grow even more. We for the next couple episodes, they're actually one-off, but we see more people talking about Little Slugger and how the story keeps changing and how he keeps getting bigger, or how the cases get weirder, and you start losing track of what's true and what isn't. Flip the page.
Yeah.
Then we get an episode of a woman talking to Lil Slugger. Like she goes home and sees him there and tells him to stop, sit down, and starts talking to him. This turns out to be Chief's wife, who she had she has kind of, I don't want to call her a burden. She feels she's been a burden because she had disease that they knew would come back to haunt her, basically. And the chief always worked long hours type deal. And she talks to Lil Slugger, as we also see Chief working job, security guard, constructions. And she's actually able to beat Lil Slugger just by talking to it. And basically saying, I'm not going to use you as an escape. You're not real. You are just what people use to get out of their problem. The simple thing to point to say, it was this guy's fault, and move on. And she isn't going to fucking use that. Because she's a badass.
Yeah.
A badass who probably weighs less than 130 pounds by the looks of her.
Yeah.
Not saying you can't be a badass that way. It's just a funny image, you know? Because even in the episode, Lil Slugger grows to the size of the room and is smashing up her entire house, but can't hit her.
Yep. And he does kind of hit her like full force, but it doesn't really do anything. It just gives her like a little cut. So
yeah, she's still fucking, well, sitting, but still.
Yeah, honestly, a pretty badass scene. She calls up this, like, and at this point they say like he's like a demon or something like that can shapeshift. Like, she calls it into her house just to basically give it the middle finger.
Yeah, well, you kind of talk about that episode, but we'll get more into it.
Yeah.
And the detective comes in and talks to her and realizes Lil Slugger and Moromi are the same. Now you may be asking, what the fuck do you mean? Well, throughout the series, Moromi is always there and even has grown to stupid popularity. Like, literally anything that has to do with Moromi sells instantly now.
Yep.
Every balloon is Moromi. Moromi has a TV series. The art Tsukiko is being treated basically like a fucking goddess for all the work she's done on drawing this dog. And the detective finds out Tsukiko goes to Tsukiko's father and finds out she was attacked in 6th grade because Moromi is based off her childhood dog, and it turns out the dog died. Tsukiko said it was because a kid with a golden bat came up and smashed the dog. But the father admits that's not the case. He knew she was lying. What happened was she let go of the dog's leash, it ran to the road and got hit. And yes, the show doesn't hold back on the gore with that either.
No, it's pretty hard.
I mean, you don't see like the insides of the dog or anything, but it's still really fucking harsh to watch.
It is. Ugh.
And I did forget to mention, Chief kinda lost it. He is in a literal reality at the moment where it's what he always wanted, where he's just this cop who chases down burglars who have burlap sacks, and he's just able to live a peaceful life.
Yeah, basically it's like this kind of separate pocket dimension thing, because they both kind of lose it in a way. The detective kind of loses it by going insane and getting information, but he loses it by going into kind of his own fantasy world, literally.
Yeah, he goes further than everyone else, not just imagine, but going into a place of comfort in a way. Which that's kind of the double edge, or not double edge, the two sides of the same coin. Lil Slugger is a quick escape, blame, and Moromi is the comforting escape of like entertainment and just forgetting your problems.
Yep.
And also, Lil Slugger. Oops, there goes my notes.
Nice.
Lil Slugger has kind of grown in power, especially due to all the rumors going, and is giant, building size almost.
Yeah.
Zukiko has to run and ends up in the same world as the chief. Their black goo just takes in everyone of Japan and starts destroying everything. This black goo is Lil Slugger.
Yep.
And the chief's wife has to go to the hospital because she was going to get an operation to stop the thing that's killing her, but she's too late and is sent in basically having a heart attack.
Yeah, it's never specified what disease she has. She said she was like born with like a frail complexion or something like that, but
yeah,
it's basically just slowly killing her. And yeah,
and the chief is trying to stay like Zukiko kind of tries to escape, but Momi keeps saying, "No, just stay here. It's fine," and trying to keep the chief there too. It's like, it's fine, just stay here. It's nice here. But his wife keeps sneaking into the world and keeps reminding him that this place isn't real. This place is fake, and you have to face reality.
Yep.
And his wife gives a final goodbye before dying, and that breaks him to the point where he literally breaks down the walls of this reality to reveal the destroyed Japan, which according to him looks like after the war.
Yeah.
And Zukiko basically finally has to admit to herself that she caused this. She has to admit to herself that she made up Lil Slugger and that she's the one who got her dog killed.
Yep.
Because they do try to fight the big goo monster that is Lil Slugger, but they all get absorbed. And she finally just admits to everything that happened and accepts what happened, that it was her fault. Which destroys Slugger. We see Japan in complete ruin. 2 years later, we jump ahead 2 years later. Everyone's basically back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
The only person... There was also an old man earlier who kind of predicting everything that was going on, and somewhat of this know-all figure in the series.
And throughout the whole series, he was kind of just writing constant math problems on the sidewalk.
Yeah, he's also a little clever thing is he's the one who talks about what will happen next time after the credits. But the detective is apparently just is the only one who couldn't move on and is a mental wreck and the new man.
Yeah,
we see him writing down another math problem before realizing that something like, I guess implying that something like this will happen again.
Yep. Like they show like scenes lifted from the first episode where everyone's kind of walking down the street and in the subway and stuff, implying that it kind of looped and stuff. So
yeah,
like it didn't like go back to the beginning, but it's kind of just like everything's back to normal and it could possibly happen again. So
and that is at least the main plot of Paranoia Agent.
Fuck me. Yeah, what a show. Like, just have to say that first off. What a show.
Honestly,
it's so unique. There's really not many shows like Paranoia Agent, honestly.
There isn't. I did watch another reason we're covering this show is it was almost fucking lost, basically.
Yeah, because it was the rights. Who originally distributed it in the U.S.?
I forget, but the distribution company went under, and this went horribly out of print.
for years. Like, it was like basically the entire time that me and Justin were both in an anime. Like, this had just been infamously out of print. And like the company, like you said, the company went under, but like before the re-release here, like the entire series literally went for upwards of like $1,000.
Yeah, my brother only had because he got it for Christmas one year, and I think the collection was $300, and disc 3 was super broken.
Yeah. But yeah, this series was out of print for the longest time. It was a bitch to find. Until just, what was it, last year, I think, or like late last year, when Funimation rescued it and got the license to it. So,
and there's a nice steel case version that, of course, we own.
Of course, we both have at the moment.
We still need to do a topic episode on physical copies and why they're important.
Yes, we do. Is that on the wheel? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah,
it is. It's been on there.
But yeah, they rescued it. They have the rights. It's streaming on Funimation now, or you can get it on Blu-ray. So,
yeah, we should have probably said that at the beginning, but fuck
it. There's another reason we're covering it. It's like we can finally just have it now to own it. It's like, and this series was just so good that, you know, at a certain point, Justin was just kind of like, you know, I will commission an artist to make a DVD case and make my own DVDs of it. It's just that good.
Yeah, if it didn't come out, I 100% have pirated it and gotten like a custom made case, or at least something to put inside of a case, but you know, like the front cover or whatnot.
Yeah,
it's so fucking good.
But thankfully Funimation came to the rescue and officially released it, so yeah, we highly recommend getting it. So
yes.
Yeah, so where do we even fucking begin with this show?
Do we go all the way back?
I don't know. Should we? It's like
no.
Things we see. It ties in. It's like things will happen all over again. So where do you want to start? Actually,
this show is so much. I don't know where to start even.
I think we'll start with the technical aspects. I think that'll take less time than like the actual themes and stuff of the show. The animation, the sound design, and everything just in general is just fantastic. It is still a gorgeous show to look at.
Oh yeah, it is fucking amazing. Even though there's an interview on the DVD of like a promotional tour and Q&A with Satoshi Kon and the main musician, the composer of I forgot the name of the show we're fucking talking about, Paranoia Agent.
Justin.exe has frozen. Rebooting.
Justin.exe fucking crashed. He also did the soundtrack for Millennium Actress, in case you're wondering. Mm-hmm. I don't remember his name, and I'm pretty sure even if I look it up, I won't say it right. But it was interesting watching that interview, because apparently Satoshi Kon gave the head composer basically the entire layout of the show, what it's going to be about, and said, make music for each episode. But he was told just go crazy, and would even send Satoshi Kon songs and be like, hey, this may not have hit the mark. And Satoshi Kon would use it anyway because he liked it so much.
Yeah. It's a very good
one. Of those was actually the main theme for Ichi in episode 2.
Ah. Yeah, it was a very good relationship they had, it seems like. So, very good creative relationship there. And a fun fact, too, about the music. The opening of the show, it was made because it aired very late at night. And so, you know, people were already probably falling asleep, just kind of with the remote in their hand, browsing through channels. And the opening is very loud, very bombastic, and I swear that it is mixed louder than the rest of the show.
It 100% is.
Yeah. So, and the reason they did that is just because to kind of just snap people back awake and to be like, ah! Like, it literally starts out with that, like, yelling, maybe people like, oh my gosh, whoa, what is this?
Yeah, it's literally to wake people up, and then the intro calming to help let them calm down and go back to sleep.
Yeah, the outro song is very calming. It kind of reminds me of what Franz Joseph Haydn did back in he was a classical composer, and like he was around the time of Mozart and all that way back when, and he was known for kind of injecting humor into his music. And he had a symphony called the Surprise Symphony, and you might have heard the melody, but like it would start out very quiet, like, you know, because it played to a lot of bougie crowds and all that. It's just do 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 do, and kind of start with like that, and then just all of a sudden go do 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 bump, and just really loud, like brr, and all the instruments would be really loud, and he said it would kind of like just jostle people awake. It's great.
Just have the entire orchestra play a loud note and
basically, because it was just do 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 it's just oh, it's fantastic.
Also, the intro reuses animation from Tokyo Godfather.
Yep.
A lot of the show does, in fact.
Yeah, because the street that they're all kind of appearing on when the lights are going by and everything's in fast forward, that was straight lifted from Tokyo Godfathers.
And Satoshi Kon admits to reusing animation because it's like, you already put in all the work to animate this, use it again.
Yeah, exactly. Just reuse it. It's fine. And like I said, this isn't confirmed, but I swear that that bridge is the same hospital bridge from Paprika.
Well, did Paprika come out after
Paprika
this?
was after, so actually Paprika, it might have been the other way around. Paprika might have used that instead. Just they reused that from Paranoia Agent. So...
God, I can't wait to cover those movies.
Oh, I know, it's going to be great. And we will within the next year or so with the director deal.
Only we didn't have a 1 in 40 fucking chance of landing on them.
I know. All right, but
technically that number will go down, but still.
Yeah, every time we spin the wheel, but yeah. So just, yeah, from a sheer technical standpoint, the show is impressive. The animation is gorgeous as usual because Satoshi Kon just has this very unique way that he animates faces and stuff like that. So you can kind of just tell.
Studio Madhouse let him just do whatever he wants.
So yeah, you can kind of tell just from the designs of the faces and how everyone's drawn that it's Satoshi Kon. Bless you.
Yeah, I felt that coming for like 2 minutes.
I hate it when that happens.
Another thing is, I don't know how to say this word properly.
What word is it?
Hold on, I'll type in. Oh, shit. Fuck you, notes.
They keep falling. What are you doing to them, man?
I'm balancing them on my knee. I only have 2 fold-out tables to hold everything else.
Didn't you have that big, like, poker table in the basement?
Yeah, but that room would be way too echoey, and it would upstairs and could wake people.
That makes sense.
I am not dragging that into this room.
No.
So.
Denpakai? What is that?
Denpakai. Okay, Satoshi Kon describes this as a Denpakai anime. We're probably saying that wrong. But basically that word is to describe people who will phase out a lot of the time and think about and not focus on reality.
So kind of people who are just like lost in their own thoughts or something?
Yeah, daydreamers would be another way to put it.
Which there's nothing wrong with doing that, but to an excess that they are, I think that's not, healthy.
But also, it makes sense with the show of how none of this is real, in a sense. Yeah. Well, it is Satoshi Kon doesn't care.
After a certain point, he just kind of says, fuck it. Like, I forget which episode it was. It was that very art housey one where you were like, I think the studio just let go of the reins on Satoshi Kon and just let him do whatever he wanted at this point.
That's your, like, episode 6 or the fucking anime company episode.
Yeah. And he
even admits in the interview that he will sometimes even get lost in what he's writing, but he'll just keep going.
Yeah, didn't he basically say, like, he admitted that after episode 6, it just gets kind of weird?
Yeah, he admitted that after the midway point, it gets weird.
Yeah, which we wouldn't have it any other way, because when it comes to how Satoshi Kon does surrealism, it's just so good.
And I'll get into this more when we cover the movie too, but my favorite part about him is just his lack of care for realism. Time becomes bendable. Anything that could be used to show off a character's inner turmoil or a conflict, he does, because it's animation and you are allowed to do that. And it's something I respect so fucking much about his work.
It's something that, we just kind of crave because it's like, it's creative, it's creativity. It's not playing it safe at all. He doesn't, pull back any punches. He just does whatever he wants, and it turns out fantastic. So
Yeah, it's it's weird at first, but once you're into it,
yeah,
it's so fucking good, and it allows the deeper themes to so easily weave themselves into the story.
yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like, like regular movies too. It's just a lot of time you play it safe. It's like, why not get creative? Why not get inventive? Why not get surreal? It's cool. So, and the thing is, he specifically, because there's a way to do it, and he nails it. Because it's not just being surreal for the sake of like just being weird. It actually does tie into the themes of the characters and of the show as a whole as well.
Honestly, it's
Like there is a
so
way to do surrealism,
fucking
and
good.
he nailed it on the head.
Not to mention to mix with his editing with all the
Oh.
perfect fucking match cuts. And well, because animation, you can literally edit frame by
Yeah.
frame, and he does it so perfectly.
Yeah, he does. He
Or
was
well, whoever the editor is, he's the editor.
yeah,
Anyway.
but he basically oversees it and all that. But so he kind of he had a hand in editing. I'm sure he's like, oh yeah, do this, 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 and this. But but yeah, it's like he's one. What?
I do always find it funny that we put all this stuff on directors because technically, yes, their editing's fantastic. It's like they hired an editor.
Yeah, it's like they oversaw it, and they probably took notes when they first saw it. It's like, okay, I want you cut here earlier, I want you to do this earlier, and blah blah blah. But
Yeah, but it was still the editor's job anyway.
Yeah,
That's a different tirade.
Yeah, that's a different tirade because the director kind of oversees it, but the editor is actually the one who does the grunt work. So it's weird. It's kind of a mixed thing because they do kind of edit it, but they kind of don't. So, what was I gonna say? It's just he was one of those people that was just kind of mastered the medium of animation completely. Like he took animation and he just knew what to do with it, and he just elevated it to a whole new level with what he did, and just had his own very distinct style. So,
which is just what hurts so much more with him being lost in just 2010.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of directors who are just really good and really do have really distinct styles, but he was one of those ones where it's like you could tell that's Satoshi Kon. Like classic right there. You could just point to him. It's like that is Satoshi Kon.
Even though he changed up genre every movie, you could still tell it was Satoshi Kon.
That's the thing. He did thriller, he did more romance and drama and stuff like that. He could do many different things. So, and he was just so good at that. And yeah, so what about some of the themes of this show? Is there any more we should dive into that specifically pertaining to it?
Well, because you take this show is able to be interpreted any way you really want. It admits that with the ending, like I said, where you can rewatch it over and to try and solve the puzzle.
Yeah, it straight up tells you rewatch it over and over.
Yeah, and you took the ending as a time loop of this happening again. I took it as almost a negative view towards society in a way, where it's people won't give a shit. Like, this whole thing was a personal problem, and the rest of the world just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
They quickly went back to normal, like, even though this seemed to be an apocalyptic event.
Yeah.
Once it's over, whatever.
Yeah. And that's something.
Or even take that as a positive that people can quickly tragedy. Either way.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the beauty of the show, and that's the beauty of just art in general, and movies and television shows just in general, is that it's up to interpretation, and it's great when movies or TV shows leave stuff like that up to interpretation, because Satoshi Kon he doesn't do the thing where it's weird and trippy and you don't understand what's going on and everything is up for interpretation. No, he explains a lot, he lets you know the twist and what was happening, but the rest of it and the deeper themes of it are still kind of left up to your imagination and how you take it. And I always love that about movies, is how they can be interpreted in ways that even the director probably couldn't even imagine to have been interpreted.
Honestly,
so good.
and there's also the theme of dealing with your fucking problems,
Yeah.
because Lil Slu- Lil Slugger is well, that's we get political because
Because the thing,
we all know the scapegoats of people.
yeah,
You know, no, I won't get into. I won't go into that side, but I'm sure everyone has at one point lied about what actually happened to something.
yeah. Well,
Like,
it's not just that. It's the fact that, like, a lot of times people just want an easy way out. Um, it's like a lot of times people will just deny reality and will just like be like, oh well, that didn't actually happen. It was Lil Slugger who came up and hit me in the head. But
it
it's
was these people that were working against
yeah,
me.
it's they want an easy way out, and there isn't always an easy way out. It's like the detective wife said, it's like it may not always be easy, but dang it, we'll fight it and we will overcome this no matter what. So like, and sometimes things can be easy. I'm not saying everything's hard and life is pain and all that. No, I'm not a fucking philosopher or any of that. But no, I'm just saying that like there are certain things that just can't be just magically done away with no matter what. And you have to really fight to get them right. So
And there is an interesting conversation to have here, because sometimes those outs do feel needed in a way
mhm.
as well. Because if you go by the idea that Lil Slugger isn't fake at all, there's a weird debate on morality in fixing something this way,
Mhm.
of just allowing blame to be pushed. Um, oh fuck, do I want to jump into that episode right now?
That's up to you. If you think it'll flow naturally, you can.
I think it does. Trigger warning: this episode talks about sexual abuse from a family member and a child, so if that is too much for you, skip ahead to here. In episode 6, when we find out Lil Slugger isn't technically real,
Yep, that he was kind of just he spread because of everyone's paranoia. So,
we find out something awful.
mm-hmm.
That a little girl had her father stuck a camera in her room and was taking photos of her changing and getting video of it.
Yeah, it
And
was.
she
Uh,
oh,
go on.
and she ran away from home, and we keep intercutting with her story as a typhoon is coming in, like there's flooding, basically rivers forming in the street, and she's just trying to find a place to stay because going home is no longer safe.
Mm-hmm.
She gets backed into a corner of almost killing herself, and luckily stops herself as we see the homeless get water,
Yep.
because she looked down and saw herself, but it turned out to be the home. Luckily, the homeless woman is fine,
Yeah.
but she basically falls back on the bridge and just completely breaks down. Which is when Lil Slugger comes up, hits her in the back of the head, and she gets amnesia. Everything that was bothering her is technically gone. She is now happier by a technical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But you can honestly debate on if that's better or worse than dealing with the pain and trauma of all this.
Yeah, because she got an easy way out, but she'll never know anything about that before again, and that's just she kind of just lost part of herself. And
I mean, she doesn't talk for the rest of the show. You just see her with a blank expression on her face.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it, is this is never solved. No, she's just that way for the remainder of the show. So possibly her life. We'll see. But and the thing about that episode too is, like, anime in general just is not afraid to deal with heavy themes. Like, you have heavy violence, heavy shit like that, because that's one of the things I hate is, a misconception is that, oh, anime is just for kids. No, it's not. It's like I've seen so much that's just emotionally heavy and a lot of violent and disturbing shit, but to this day, that episode where we find out he was taking pictures of his underage daughter is still one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in any media. It just makes my skin crawl. Just ugh.
Yeah, the father also turns out to the robber I mentioned earlier, which is just by far the most despicable thing I've seen a character do. Like, yes, there's over the top anime where villain stomps a puppy and then kills the main character's mother by violently chopping off her head with a rusty blade. Yeah, that's fucked up. But this is like realistically the most horrible thing I've seen a character do.
Yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting and disturbing. It's just, that moment is just, I hate it. I hate it so much. And,
Fun times.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is probably like the heaviest moment in the show. But yeah, there's
that entire episode is fucking harsh.
That entire episode is very intense. And that's like, and the thing is like that is I think our one like very minor, not even like a huge issue. Is that like that comes right after an episode that's like straight up comedic.
Oh yeah, what's the episode? Yeah, it's the Holy Warrior episode.
And that
before that.
That's a fun episode because that gets really surreal and they actually go into like the fantasy land and fight creatures and there's this really corny dialogue at the end. And that comes kind of right after that, so that could have been paced just a little better. It's not super noticeable, like it's not like complete tonal whiplash, like oh my gosh, but it's still just a little bit oh my.
I think that could also be the point too of like. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're having kind of a fun story here. There's some silliness, there's some comedy, and then here's the gut punch.
Yeah, and I could totally see that too. Like, oh yeah, show's fine, and you just when you think you're getting comfortable with the show, nope, slap.
just a handshake, then pull forward gut punch.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know how to segue off this episode.
Yeah, where do you want to go next? We'll say that.
Do we want to work backwards and talk about episode 5?
Sure, let's do that.
We talk about how it's a hard tonal shift. Now let's do a hard tonal shift to lighten the mood slightly.
See, ties in a little bit.
Hey. Yeah, episode 5 is, I think, the second funniest episode.
Yeah.
Because realizing how fucking insane the fake little slugger is hilarious.
Yeah, and when the detective starts playing along with it to try and get information, it just gets great because, like, we actually go into the fantasy world and he's, like, all dressed up as the scribe or whatever that's going to write about his adventures, and they follow him into the land.
Because he has the player's handbook, knowing what happens in the game.
Yeah, he kind of becomes the dungeon master, just kind of guiding him along in his path, and they go and they fight these creatures, and it gets really silly, like with the one fairy princess or whatever that kidnapped her, and she's like, you think you could defeat me? Or some shit like that. It's great.
and Chief is always there. It looks so fucking out of place because he's always like, not playing along.
He's not playing along, so he's the one person that didn't change costume or anything. And, like, you see him kind of just constantly running after them. Like, they're going up this weird elevator thing. And you just see him in the background just, like, running up the stairs. Just like, oh, my gosh, hold on. And, like, at some point, he, like, stops and starts panicking. And then he's running again. It's great. And the old man is hilarious in this episode. Just, oh, so funny.
You're going to play the clip. And
I'm going to play that clip because I think it's great.
Don't talk to me like you know what's what!
The ancient master.
It doesn't work for people who are only doing audio, but whatever.
Well, you know what? It'll be even more random for them because they'll just hear. Oh, it's great. But oh man, this show, because that's the thing, is it does have some heavy shit and most of it is very heavy, but it does have some comedic episodes to kind of lighten the tone. So, and that level of like D&D corniness where it's like, haha, I will defeat you with this sword or whatever, just always brings a smile to my face. I just kind of love it.
Yeah, that's fucking funny.
And then
Um,
the episode that Justin was referring to, his favorite comedy episode, is the one where a bunch of people just keep trying to commit suicide.
haha, classic comedy.
Yeah.
Also, trigger warning talks about suicide.
Yeah.
Skip to here if that's too much for you.
Yep. And because it's just some really good dark humor, because it's like these people keep trying to commit suicide, but they can't. They are unable to because, the world keeps happening around them.
Yeah, it's they're a group of people who met online and they make a suicide pact. Basically,
Yeah.
they try to die by ODing on. Well, two of them try to leave one behind because. And
Hold on, say it again. You broke up again.
oh, there's an old man. There's a man we find out who was gay, and then you can assume what happened since it's 2004.
Honestly, he wasn't portrayed all that badly.
Well, all we find out, what happened to him, not that he was portrayed badly.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Because actually, Satoshi Kon is very respectful of the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, he always has been, even in Tokyo Godfathers as well. So.
Yeah, which is a 2003 movie with a actually positive representation of a trans character.
Yeah.
But again, we'll get to that later.
Yes, we will.
Actually, quick side note. My little brother Alex told me there's apparently an anime from like the 80s that talked deeply about trans issues.
Really?
Yeah, and like played it completely straight.
Wow, how fucking progressive for the time. Damn. Because I think Japan has always been ahead of... I know the U.S. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I'm pretty sure Japan has always been ahead of the curve when it comes to, LGBT issues.
At least the city parts.
Yeah, it's true.
I rule Japan. Oh, no. Wait, Cameron. Go by American internet that says Japan is totally apolitical.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just look at Paranoia Agent. No politics at all.
I can't believe people actually fucking say that. Come on.
Oh, okay. Off topic. But anyway. And the third person trying to kill themselves is a little girl. The two adults obviously realize, let's not have a child die.
Yeah. It's like, I don't want that on my conscience.
And they try to run away from her and go into a construction site. Well, they don't know it's a construction site, or demolition site, I should say. They try to OD on sleeping pills and breathe in carbon dioxide. However, the building gets cracked open before they can all die, because the little girl also shows up. They try to jump in front of a train. That doesn't work. Well, they see someone else do it, and then they're like, eh.
Yeah.
Then they go to the suicide forest, try to hang themselves, but break the branch and fall down the mountain.
So fucking dark, and I love this because it's just some really dark. They're like, okay, well, wait, who's giving the signal? It's like, well, we hadn't decided that yet. And they're like hanging there. It's like, ah.
No one gives the go ahead.
Yeah, and then like they're hanging there, and the girl's like, that looks fun, and then hangs herself with the fucking noose. And then the branch,
she's bouncing, it breaks the branch.
And the branch breaks, they all go tumbling down the hill. It's so dark and so hilarious. Oh, God.
And then they decide to go to a spa on the mountain, try to relax, talking about how nice it would be if Lil fucking whacked them outside the head and they didn't deal with anything anymore. They see him, and he runs away out of pure fear until they realize they're dead.
Yeah, they are ghosts, and they therefore cannot kill themselves because they're dead already.
Also, for those who don't know Japanese folklore, ghosts don't have shadows. So at the end, when the old looks down and sees there's nothing for, that's how they know they're dead.
Yep.
And actually, their shadows are gone before they even go to the train. So they died in the construction site.
Yeah, like something happened there. So.
Which probably explains the end, because you just see the wall break and then suddenly they're outside.
Yeah. That is interesting
just-
when you really think about it. Huh. I never really put that together. That's cool. Huh.
Satoshi Kon's editing is actual time, except when it isn't.
Yeah. Because fuck you.
Because fuck you.
Oh, you want reality? Ha ha ha! You should be watching a Satoshi Kon film in that case.
But yeah, that episode just has such great dark humor. I love the twist of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably also my favorite one-off, honestly.
That's fair.
Plus, seeing Lil Slugger fucking panic is
Yeah, because throughout the series, he was this very enigmatic, very frightening, very figure, like very and legitimately terrifying even before the demon. Like he would just come up and he'd be like in shadow and to be all cool and stuff. But here he's kind of just like running around in broad daylight, like tripping down the stairs, like just like running around. And I'm like, man, I'm glad this figure that was so threatening before is now just comedy.
comedy. Oh,
What?
Chair, shut up.
What did you do?
I leaned back slightly and the chair goes ping.
It didn't like that.
Didn't like that.
Oof. But yeah, and then we can tell you our least favorite episode, which was also a one-off episode.
Oh yeah, it's actually the next episode.
Yep.
It's okay. This episode has technically needed to show how Lil Slugger is becoming this almost folklore and how people keep changing.
Uh-huh.
How he's told and how it works. But God, it's annoying.
Because it's called etc., right? ETC.
Yeah, etc.
Because it's this group of 4 women, and 3 of them are just constantly gossiping, and this one woman, she looks very sad and withdrawn, and she's just kind of there just because I guess she wants to fit in or something like that. But they're just kind of like whispering, oh my gosh, did you hear this? And oh, did you hear this? And oh, did you hear this? I'm not trying to say it, but you won't tell anyone, right? And it's just very annoying because of how relatable it is, because I hate people like that. People like that are annoying as shit.
Honestly.
Prying in everyone else's business, constantly spreading rumors and shit like that. And the problem isn't that it's written badly. The problem, and Justin pointed this out during the show, it's like the problem is it's written too well. Because I hate those people, and that's exactly how they act.
These are people who you don't want to spend 30 minutes with, but we do.
Yep.
And the redeeming part is when we see their Lil Slugger stories and use dumbest fucking imagery with him.
Yeah, towards the end, it kind of gets played for laughs, and that part of the episode's fine.
And apparently, because they keep making fun of the woman trying to fit in because she makes up really dumb stories.
Yeah, like she's married to
even though their stories are also equally stupid.
Yeah, because she's apparently married to a screenwriter, and they're like, how can someone who's married to a screenwriter be, so bad at telling stories or something like that?
Yeah. And at one point she tries to start pointing out the flaws in it says like, wait, isn't that the famous book? And yes, one of the stories the woman says is literally a recap of a famous romance novel.
Yeah. And that one was interesting too, because I pointed out how like the eyes were drawn differently. They were drawn in a different style than the rest of the show. So I was like, wait a minute, does that point towards something else? Like, was this an anime that they're referencing? And it's apparently just a famous romance story in general. So
That was a fun tidbit. These women reappear in Tokyo God.
yeah, okay, that's cool.
Just a little fact.
Yep. So that was our least
And
favorite.
and ends with the woman like finding her husband beat by Lil Slugger, and she goes fucking crazy. Is like, how did it happen? No, tell me how it happened.
And he's like sitting there, and I think he literally dies. He like passed out at one point. He's like, no, you have to tell me how it happened.
Yeah, he passes out or he's straight up dead.
Yeah. And he's like, no, please just call the police. And she's like, no, how did it happen? And it just goes crazy. It's just ugh.
I also forgot to mention the summary when things go Omi crazy. You hear on the news there is a fucking gang based around Moromi.
This is something that they just kind of say, and it's like, oh yes, the gang, the Moromi gang or something like that. We were like, no, hold on, go back a second. What was this about, a Moromi gang? So you mean to tell me there's like these like ruffians going around in the name of Moromi, just like, doing gang shit. Like, what do they
They're
like?
gonna go to fucking America and fight the Blues Clues gang.
Right? It's like, what do they like wear like Moromi costumes? Do they wear pink or something? It's like it's supposed to be a fucking gang. It's like, what is that even mean? What does this entail? I want to know more about this Moromi gang.
They're about to throw fucking down.
That'd be fine. Oh, sorry. Now I'm just imagining actual Moromi, just like, okay, boys, let's go fuck him up. Just like a cap on backwards or something like that. Or he, I guess. Also, yes, Moromi does talk in the series. Like, she carries around Tsukigo carries around a Moromi doll the whole time, and it sometimes comes alive and just talks to her.
Yeah. And this happens in the first episode. This isn't like, oh, the show's getting weird.
Yeah.
This is how it starts.
It lets you know right away that you're in for some weird shit. I also really liked the two episodes that I also really liked. I like the one with the prostitute who you learn is living a double life as the tutor from the one kid and just a straight up prostitute or whatever.
Yeah, that's a great episode.
Turns out she has dissociative identity disorder and is literally like switching personalities. And on her message machine, she's like leaving messages to herself as the other personality or whatever. So
yeah, and they argue like who gets to one. I think Maria is the prostitute. I couldn't think of a better word.
Yeah.
Call girl.
Yeah. Yeah. And the interesting thing about that, what is that character's actual name? Do we know?
Harumi?
Because I think you're right that her split personality is named Mary. I think or Maria, sorry. But the first time I saw this episode, I actually thought that like it was like a Silent Hill reference, because James goes to Silent Hill looking for Maria or Mary, his wife, and then there turns out to be a double named Maria. So I didn't know if that's what they were going for or not when I first saw it. What?
I'm sorry, you're just segueing right in. Okay.
I am. Like, nothing happened at all. Isn't that right,
Yeah,
computer?
Your computer didn't crash and
No.
take 20 minutes to start back up.
Nah, it's fine. Nothing happened.
It got me so off guard. Okay, but you really... Oh my god, I only want to know what Satoshi Kon would have done if he made a Silent Hill game.
Oh my fucking god, just stop right there. That is both terrifying, but awesome. So awesome that it kind of hurts, so...
Okay, Cameron. I have a question for you that will be hard to answer.
Uh-huh.
You get one game. Do you get Silent Hills or Satoshi Kon's Silent Hill with whatever team he wants to make it?
Oh god, no, you can't make me choose that. Oh, both
I
are
can
so
make
good.
you choose.
Oh,
That's what the decision gun is for.
Oh my gosh, not the decision gun.
It shoots needles.
mm. I love Kojima and I love Satoshi Kon. Fuck.
Stop hitting the table.
Never. You have a gun on me, okay?
So, don't have to be rude to the table.
Listen, man, this table has been through some shit, okay?
Yeah. You wing it specifically.
Oh, that's such a hard one because, God, both of them would have been so promising.
Such a pointless section.
It really is, but you like making me squirm, so shut up. But
Yeah, it's true.
But I would love to see Satoshi Kon do an interpretation of Silent Hill. That would be amazing. But I'm probably honestly still going to go with the team of Kojima and that one writer. I'm just saying, like, I would love that. If I had a choice, I would want both. That's just thing. But gun to my head, choosing between them, probably Kojima still.
And cock goes the gun.
Yeah, right. But that would be fascinating to see him, because we could get some real fucked up shit if like Silent Hill is already pretty fucking surreal as is. So, oof.
Anyway, back to the actual point of this episode, the show of Paranoia Agent.
I still really
episode
like.
3 is just really well done.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I love the audio cue of once Little Slugger hits her and her problems go away, just all messages deleted.
It's so good. Such a good hard cut, and the whole thing of her going fucking crazy. I want to make a joke here, but that's a spoiler for another thing.
Mm.
But when you see what's actually going on, she's covered in the makeup that usually Maria wears, but it's like smudged and basically makes her look like a clown.
Yeah.
She's just fucking insane, and then boom.
Yep.
Also, not sure if we mentioned this. Lil Slugger's little song motif every time he shows up with the skate noise is just
it's
perfect.
So good. Yeah, the composer, that was the perfect choice for Little Slugger's theme.
I don't know if you'll use it in the opening joke or you'll just go with the bat whack.
Mm-hmm. And it also reminded me of something else. I forget what it was now at this point, like Little Slugger's theme.
Big Swinger.
Big Swinger. Shut up. But and you want to talk about episode 2 as well? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll backtrack a bit to episode 2 and then we'll get to your other favorite. Because episode 2 is about a kid named Ichi who looks a lot like the drawing Tsukiko did of Lil Slugger. So he starts getting bullied. However, he was the most popular kid in school and was running for student president, and he was going to win. But then all this came out. The other person who's running is Ishima?
That sounds about right. He's a pudgy little kid.
He's pudgy, nice kid, and someone even catches pictures of Ichi because he thinks Ishima started the rumors. He thinks everyone's out to get him. You know, someone in an election blaming everyone else for his problems, even though he's just kind of a dick. Anyway, aged like a bitter wine. But they catch Ichi. Someone catches Ichi threatening Ishima, and then tries to send the image to the entire class. But then Ishima stands up for Ichi, which makes him more furious.
Yeah.
Then Ichi's walking home with Ishima. Ishima gets hit by Lil Slugger, but Ichi doesn't, putting even more blame on him. He mentally fucking snaps as he becomes the complete outcast of school.
It was Yuichi was the kid, and then Ushiyama was the other kid.
Nope, I'm continuing to say it wrong then. I do not care. But Ichi's trying to stay recluse because everyone's out to get him is literally out to get him at this point.
Oh no, but that's his nickname is Ichi because he's Yuichi, but everyone says Ichi.
Okay, so I'm not
So you
wrong.
were right on that. It was just Ushiyama was the other guy. So
Ishiyama.
yeah, that works too. Whatever.
Ishiyama is but he tries to stay home, but his mom forces him to go outside. And then the animation style changes to be horrific and low grade. It looks like it's done with crayon. And then Lil Slugger shows up, knocks him out, so he is cleared, and that his life is made slightly better. A little fun fact about this is Satoshi Kon says the ending moment where everything goes crayon style was the hardest to animate.
Really?
Yes, because it's easy to ask an animator to draw a person or a cityscape or whatever. It's hard to tell them to draw it badly. Because you'll want to fix it. You'll want to make it look good, but he wanted it specifically to look like it was drawn by a 5-year-old.
Yeah, because that ties in the theme because they're in elementary school. So
yeah, I don't know. I found that interesting.
That
I
does
also
make
just
sense.
like the episode too.
Yeah, it's still a really good episode, even though you learn to hate the main character with how much of a fucking narcissist he is. So
Yeah, and also, if we're going by Little Slugger is fake, and we find out that the Holy Warrior, the fake Little Slugger, didn't hit the one kid before Ichi, that probably means Ichi fucking slugged him in the back of the head.
But I thought he admitted that he hit them, or was two of them that he did, right?
He tried to admit, and then in the same conversation, he says he didn't do it.
Okay, so yeah, so he didn't do that one, but he did admit to two of them. So he did do two of them.
No, he did admit two of them, and then he retracts the statement on the second one. He admits he didn't even do that.
Okay. So
the only one he did was I'll just call him a fucking pedophile. That's what he is.
Yeah, the old man, because because that's how he got caught. So
yeah, that's the only one he actually did.
Yep.
Okay. And you wanted to talk about
I also really like
10?
I like the one that was in the animation studio. That was just a really interesting and well done episode, I thought, because that one just plays with time. So you just never know what's current, what's in the past, or any of that. And I just kind of love how it just does that. So
yeah, that whole flow of, because it's about the people making the Moromi anime. Their schedule's getting tighter and tighter. People keep leaving the project. People keep fucking dying.
Yep.
This one producer who is a complete fuck up is you keep seeing him driving to the TV station to deliver a tape so it can play on the air. And you keep air cutting and you don't know where the hell you are. It just ends with basically everyone dead.
Because it starts out like, the producer quits or whatever, and or the director, I think, and they have to get like a new one, and then like she's on the phone with him and he's like, okay, you can count on me or something, and then you see him, he kind of falls asleep at the wheel, and then it cuts to black, and they're like, what do you mean he got in an accident? What, he's paralyzed and he can't write or anything? Oh, it's like, oh, we're in some deep shit, and they go through it in, but then it cuts back to him and he kind of wakes up and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I thought he just died, what the fuck is going on? And you just kind of never know what's going on. And I like the characters in that too. And just in general, it's just interesting looking at behind the scenes of an animation studio. And then just at the end, all this horrible shit just goes down.
Yeah. The way I took that episode was kind of a middle finger to studios or TV companies.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it doesn't matter the hell people go through. It doesn't matter even if they're all fucking dead. As long as they get the episode and they're able to air it and make money, it's good.
Oh, it totally is. Because at the end, when he's in the rain outside of his car and just basically dying, like he has the tape and someone comes up to rescue him, and you hear like you don't actually see the person, but you hear in the chatter, they're like, oh my gosh, is the tape okay? Oh, it is. Thank God. Grab it quickly.
It's the same voice as the woman in the studio because he has a nightmare of getting there late and they just tear him apart, basically.
Yep.
Verbally tear him apart, I'd like to add.
Yes, yeah, no, not literally, not like Hellraiser, just rip all his limbs off and shit, but
I wouldn't put it past Satoshi Kon's Hellraiser.
Oh my god, we need to stop with this, because that would, again, be
I want the alternate universe where Satoshi Kon is and made all...
Wouldn't that be fascinating? Because I also love
Star
the
Wars
one...
would be watchable.
Oof. Excuse me, Hellraiser's pretty good, all right? But
I said Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. Well, But I was, and I love the joke of that, because, like, every time a character walks on screen, Moromi comes in and does this little tutorial thing. It's like, this is the producer. The producer does this, and this. But then they find the one guy dead, and you see, like, his corpse, like, strewn in blood and everything. But then Moromi comes in and just this thing, well, this person's in charge of...
This is the art director.
Yeah, as it's, like, a freeze frame over his, like, dead, bleeding body. And I just found that really funny.
Yeah, that's between that and episode 6, those are the trippiest episodes.
Yeah, it gets so dry. And that ending, dear God, that ending is trippy as fuck.
Yeah, when everything just goes to hell.
Yeah, just the surrealist aspects are just incredible. My God, so. But yeah, any other specific episodes you want to talk about, or?
I mean, I could go on about every one of the episodes. There's so. If you needed a short podcast to do, cover Paranoia Agent and have 13 episodes covering each episode of the show,
Yeah.
maybe a 14th one to wrap up your final thoughts.
Do it
There
episode by
you go.
episode, definitely.
And I mean, if you steal this fucking idea, I mean, you fucking watch each episode like 3 times over and write down every thought you have. You could do an essay on that. If you needed a essay for a film class, here you go. Here's your show.
Who was the person who did the essay on Satoshi Kon in general?
That was Every Frame in Pain as well.
That was Every Frame in Pain. Cool. Yeah.
Sorry for the clicks of my chair. Yeah, that's also a great essay. So go check that out.
Definitely. So, but yeah, Paranoia Agent. Because I watched this a few years ago, and you watched it like 1 or 2 years ago, right? Something like that.
I rewatched it a year or two ago.
Yeah, but before that was the first time you watched it.
Yeah, before that, because that was back like freshman year of high school or 8th grade middle school.
Because Paranoia Agent was one of the earlier ones I watched when I was seriously watching anime. But yeah, it'd been a good I think it had been at least 3 years since I've seen it. So
It's so good.
it's so good. It still holds up. It's honestly it is better than I remember it. It's still really fucking good. So definitely highly recommend Paranoia Agent and highly recommend just all of Satoshi Kon in general. All of him.
Honestly,
Go check it out.
And there is more to say on the show, but also kind of I'd be ready to do a 2-hour episode for the 100th episode special, but also I respect your time.
Yes. Yeah.
This show is just so fucking good, and I'm happy it is the one I started with. Because I mean, from a critical standpoint, it's a high fucking bar to set.
Yeah.
On a personal standpoint, I will say, like, the few negatives I have. One is episode 9, like we mentioned. That one's just, it's annoyingly correct.
Yeah. Again, not because it's bad, but because it's written so well that it gets on your nerves.
It captures it too fucking well.
Yeah.
And the other is, I can't fully explain it, but something about the ending isn't satisfying. Like, I don't mind an open ending, but this one is this weird middle ground of wrapping up and also not, where it makes me feel a bit blasé about it. By no means does it knock off a star or anything. This is pretty close. I don't know if I count it a 10 out of 10 show or a 9 out of 10, but it's around there.
Yeah, it's high up there as one of the greatest anime series ever made.
Yeah, probably if I was going by a critical like top 10 list, this would be number 2 or number 1.
Yeah, it's so good.
There's also Cowboy Bebop, which is just fucking perfect as well.
Hell yeah. That's about as close to perfect of a show as you can get just in general. Like not even specifically in anime, just in general. That's as close to
you could cut out Faye.
Well, yeah, but even then I don't really mind her, frankly. So
Fair enough.
like she in hindsight is kind of useless, but as a character I like her. She's not annoying or anything. So
We might talk about Cowboy Bebop. I still don't know on that because it's kind of like talking about I'm trying to think of like a really famous movie. Like talking about the first Jurassic Park, like what do we add?
What else
honestly?
is there even to add? And that's kind of
or maybe even covering Back to the Future one. Oh fucking damn it!
Well, the thing about, and the funny thing is too, you know, we're never going to talk about Hot Fuzz because Movies with Mikey just outdid us in every way possible. There's nothing we can add to it.
Oh yeah.
Like,
if I saw his World's End video, I wouldn't have wanted to do it for the show.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But yeah, his essay on Hot Fuzz is just so perfect. Just watch that too. Movies with Mikey is great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. This fucking show.
Yeah, this fucking show. It's so good and so well done, and just again, it's just so unique. There's not many shows like Paranoia Agent. Just again, Satoshi Kon, just how he perfectly blended surrealism and this, you know, thriller mystery type thing was just so fantastically done. And it's just, we definitely can't highly recommend it enough, especially if you're into anime or, you know, just in general, just a solid fucking show. So
if you need a jumping on point for anime and you enjoy a good mystery or you enjoy something that makes you think or look deeper into themes, this is a great place to start. This is a good way to be like, oh, this isn't just mindless action or mindless action porn or kid stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, so without further ado, I think that's that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of the 100th goddamn episode of this fucking show.
So yeah, so thank you so much, everybody, again, just for sticking with us, for listening to us, and just helping us last this long.
Now arriving, who knows?
Or if you're just now arriving, yeah, thank you for checking us out on our 100th episode special. Go watch them before. Available now on all podcast apps.
And YouTube.
Don't worry.
Actually, more of our episodes are available on YouTube,
Yes.
because the audio is too bad for Spotify's quality.
Yeah. But yeah, well, thank you so much. And yeah, so how do we end this? How the fuck do we end this?
How the fuck do we, I don't know. I'm getting kind of backed into a corner.
Oh God, no. Not now. You can't do that now. Oh no, he's here.